Good morning. Yesterday we had completed till verse 59 from the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. Now in that we had seen how the senses come in contact with objects outside through the sense objects. So you understood that there are senses like the vision, sense objects which is the eye. The objects outside could be anything that is happening around in the world. When that object hits the eye reacts to it. It sends signals to the mind. The mind then gives the reaction in the form of some kind of a reaction. It could be that you may close your eyes or you may lift your fingers, whatever the reaction could be. So this happens to everybody. But the spiritually perfect people, which we call as a sage, to that person, this doesn't happen. His reaction is based only on the senses reaction, not on the mind. The mind is insulated for him. So there is no reaction from the mind. So since he is detached in the world, he has cut off his mind from the outer world. Hence he is able to perform only those actions which are necessary. It's like instantaneous or instinctive reactions. But otherwise, since there is no reaction happening from the mind, he is free from all karmic debts in the world. Alright, so this is what we had concluded yesterday. So today we are going to do a very important verses which are critical for human beings when they react in this world. These verses have a lot of value because we are constantly involved in the process and we have to see how these reactions happen, and these reactions need not happen. So let us see what the verses are saying. So we are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 60. Turbulent by nature, the senses, not free from attachment, even of a wise man who is practicing self-control, forcibly carry away his mind, Arjuna. Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, even if the person is wise, if he allows his senses to go free, roam free in this world, and if he is attached to things, people, place and things, then if he does not practice self-control, his mind will get carried away in that direction. Let us see how this works. Let us say a wise man. He's saying a wise man. So there is a wise person who might have been studying spirituality for a very long period of time, but may not have become enlightened. Please understand this. A wise person who has studied spirituality, practiced it, but has not gone beyond, has not become enlightened, though he is a wise person. What happens to him is when his senses are interacting with something, because of his attachment with that object, he is not able to overcome the reaction that happens in the mind. So, he reacts violently many a times. This verse extrapolation is there in the couple of verses ahead. So, I will give you an example. I had a disciple who was with me for many years. Now, this particular disciple had a very strong attachment to that her daughter. Now, it so happened that I could see the problem there. So I brought it to the notice and I said, don't get attached to people. It can be your own sibling, it can be your own father, mother, anybody connected to you. Don't get attached so much to it. But this person never listened. And then something transpired. Because as you know, Maya is always waiting in the wings. She's just waiting to pounce on that person. If the person has to progress in spiritual, then this doesn't happen. But because the person doesn't progress in the spiritual, you will find that the attachments can cause a lot of misery. So this lady, being attached to her daughter, literally fell into the trap of Maya. So what happened was, daughter did not get admission in some college. And that created a lot of upheaval in the mind. Immediately she started accusing me that you are not doing anything. Because people have this idea that Guruji is there, Guruji will take care of everything. No. If you want to progress in your spiritual, I am going to let go. You have to do it with self-effort. I am not going to be taking care of everything. So when the thing comes, like attachment comes, then the problem arises over there. So the senses were carried away in that direction. Turbulent by nature. The senses are always turbulent by nature. They are never silent. See, can you close your ears? No. Can you close your eyes and say, I don't want to see anything? You can't even say that. You can't even say that I want to avoid this world. There are lots of people who come and tell me, I don't want to be in this world. I want to avoid this world. Well, you cannot avoid this world. You may go and sit in Kailasha also. You know, Kailasha is a mountain where Shivji sits. But you cannot avoid this world. You may sit in a cave. Do you know how you cannot avoid this world? It is written in this verse. Mind. You see, it is the mind which gets carried away. So you may sit in one place and yet your mind will keep on dwelling on the same thing. Today early in the morning I was reading an article which was written about relationships. So the person says that the only person who will remember your long-term relations are your own children. So 20 years hence, they will remember your relationship with them. And they will be very nostalgic about it. On that I wrote that, I'm sorry, that doesn't happen. The children want to move away from their parents. They hate their parents so much that they want to move away from their parents and don't even want to get involved with them. The parents themselves are like that. The children also don't like it because it's literally like imposing on top of them. Just a few days ago, we got an invitation for a marriage. Now, this particular lady who is getting her daughter married off, her daughter is autistic. She cannot even understand basic stuff in the world. And this lady has been visiting hundreds of temples and priests and doing all kinds of stuff so that her daughter can get married off. Now she has been handling her daughter for so many years. It has been a painful journey. So when she came to me, I was very clear. I said, please don't get your daughter married off, because there is no such human being on earth who can be generous with your daughter and will take care of her in the many years to come. It doesn't happen. She's autistic, remember that. So she insisted, no, I want to get my daughter married. Now I want you to think about this situation. What will happen to this girl? It is already a disastrous thing. There could be a lot of issues that can crop up. The parents are saying that we have to fulfill our duties, so we should get the child married off. Well, she is no longer a child. She must be 24 or something like that, 24 or 25. But she has no knowledge about this world. How do you allow such kind of things to happen? The parents feel that they have freed themselves from the duty. It really doesn't work like that. So, the mind is such a dangerous thing. So, the mind carries away everything within. So, you have to be very careful. So, a sage or a wise person should not fall into the trap of these senses which are in contact with the world. His senses get carried away. Because of this person's attachment to the things around, he can fall into the trap of Maya and lose whatever the wheel that he must have corrected over the years. Whatever goodness that might have been there with that person, it goes away. So a wise man becomes a stupid person very soon. So you have to be very careful. So we will move to the next verse. So we are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 61. Therefore, having controlled all the senses and concentrating his mind, he should sit for meditation, devoting himself heart and soul to me. For he whose senses are under his control is known to have a stable mind. This is a kind of a remedy which in today's day and age is not possible. Because mind can never become steady. So he is given one small, window, an opening, which you need to see over here. Sri Krishna is saying, suppose you are not in a position to do this, then there is a way out of this. You sit in a place and focus all your attention on Sri Krishna himself. That is called devotion. The path of devotion. So Sri Krishna is now putting forward the third path, which is called the devotional path. The first one is the knowledge path, which is extremely difficult to attain. Second one is called the karmic path, which is action path, which is also very difficult because at the end of the day we are still bothered about results. So the third path, where you are supposed to be doing one direct contact with the Lord himself, and that is called the devotional path or bhakti marg. So here he is advising that those who cannot do this kind of a focus, they should sit in one place and they should meditate only on the Lord. Now how this has to be done will be explained in, I think, 16th or 17th chapter. So just now at this given point in time, don't bother how to meditate and all that, because we have to go slowly to that place. Remember, all other paths get closed because we have a mind. The path of knowledge gets closed because of the mind is because you get very egoistic in nature. The path of the work gets into the problem area because we are always seeking results from what we do. We want results. We are not there. I am not doing work so that you don't pay me. I am doing work so that you pay me. Isn't it? We are expecting results from people. So this is the second path called Karma Yoga. But he says the third path, single pointed devotion. Only one pointed. There is no other person in the vicinity. So one pointed devotion is the only way forward. So now we are going to the 62nd verse and 62 and 63. We will do these verses together. Now you have to mark these verses very, very important in your life because this is where the problem lies. Alright? So we are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62. The man dwelling on sense objects develops attachment for them. From attachment springs up desire, and from desire, which is unfulfilled, ensues anger. Verse 62. Now verse 63. From anger arises delusion, from delusion, confusion of memory, from confusion of memory, loss of reason, and from loss of reason, one goes to complete ruin. So this is a step by step. If you have something behind you or where you may have a board, please pin these things in front of you so that every day you follow what is written over there. Please remember, this is where a person falls down. So he is saying very clearly how this step by step problem occurs. And this problem has never been told to anybody. Nobody has actually found the answer to this. Why does anger strike you? Nobody knows the answer. So Sri Krishna is giving a very, very important answer over here. So where does it all start? So let us see where it starts. The man dwelling on sense object develops attachment for them. So if you keep on dwelling on sense objects are those objects which are attracted to the senses. Got it? Your senses go to that object. Your senses are going in that direction. So if you see a very good scenery in front of you, you are attracted towards the scenery. If you see a person of the opposite sex who is very handsome or cute or beautiful and whatever, then you are attracted towards that object. It's like, when we want to be attracted towards the film stars, they look so pretty, they look so beautiful, handsome, they look hunks. And we say, wow, this person looks so nice. So we are attracted towards this object. If there is some kind of a food which we get in this world, we are attracted towards that food. Right? If there is some kind of a flower or object in front of us, we are attracted towards the object. An iPhone, a cell phone which is very expensive, we are attracted towards that. A few days ago, somebody conducted a survey where there was a show of all the cars in the world. The car companies were there. Everybody was asked a question, which is the best car? So somebody said, Lamborghini, somebody said this, Maserati, somebody said Rolls Royce, somebody said Range Rover. Everybody was saying what they liked. And when they see these objects in front of them, they want to admire them. I still remember we had gone to Hong Kong, and in the middle of the street there was a very beautiful Ferrari, a red color Ferrari in the middle of the street. Naturally, the first thing that a person does is stand in front of it and take a picture. Right? That is what happens. So we see these objects and we feel, wow, they are so attractive. Right? So this is what happens. Now this was all the positive that I could speak of. Now let me tell you the negative aspect of it. Suppose you are in school and you hate some other child. Why? Because he gets a lot of stuff in school which you cannot afford, which your parents cannot afford. Naturally, you're going to feel bad about it, isn't it? And every time when you look at him, you will look at the child with hatred, right? Similarly, you may hate your own sibling. It happens. I think it happens in most of the families. You hate your neighbors because the neighbors always put their dustbin in front of your house. Or their dog comes to poop inside your place. You are going to be feeling very, angry with them. Why? You see, your neighbor can cause you misery if you want to. Similarly, we are not attracted towards political parties. Sometimes we hate the political parties that are there. Is there anything in the world that you don't like? Think about it. If you don't like something, it is always on top of your mind. Do you know, when you are flying in the air, your dread is you get a middle seat and there are fat people sitting on either side. You know how dreadful that is? It is so, you feel, closeted. You feel, oh my God, I don't want this to happen. And then your next dread is you have a bawling child next to you. Some child who goes meh all the time. Or you have a talkative person next to you. These are the things which we don't like. And the more you don't like them, the more they appear in front of you. So, this is a very critical example to understand. Ravana hated Sri Ram. So Ravana had Sri Ram on top of his mind all the time. So he says, the man dwelling on sense objects develops attachment for them. Attachment is not just liking, by the way. Dislike is also an attachment. Please remember this. People think dislike is not an attachment. The more you dislike, the more you are attached to that object. Suppose you have a bad marriage. You hate your spouse from the bottom of your heart. You understand? You're going to be thinking of him or her throughout your life. That's what happens. Or if you are in a bad relationship, you're going to be thinking of the same person throughout your life. I don't want to be in this relationship. Okay, don't want to be means okay. But why are you thinking about that relationship constantly? I don't want to is still an attachment. Do you get this? So don't forget this. Even if you don't like the person, it is still called attachment. People do not understand this. They think not liking is not an attachment. Actually, not liking is firmer attachment, is a very strong attachment than liking. Did you get it? Then, from attachment springs up desire. The desire, I want to own that car. I want to own that house. I want to own this particular thing or that thing. You see a beautiful woman, you want to get married to her. If you see something which is likable, then you want to possess it. If you don't like something, you hate something, you're constantly thinking, I don't want this person, I don't like this, I don't ever want to be associated with these people or that thing. Suppose you don't like something. Okay. Now suppose, what we say, aubergines, what do you call it? Eggplant. Okay. Now you don't like eggplant. People if they don't like eggplant, no, they get served eggplant only. And every time when they see eggplant in their plate, they, I don't like it. It is like that, all right? Or bitter gourd. Some people don't like bitter gourd, and they will find bitter gourd is served to them. So it happens. What you don't like also, that object also, the desire appears. What is the desire? I want it or I don't want it. Both are desires. Don't forget this. This is very important. So when you are writing these two verses down, remember, desire can be I want it or I don't want it. Both are desires. Did you get it? I want it is a desire and I don't want it is also a desire. I hate it, so I don't want it. That is also a desire. Desire means I don't want it also. Which desire is stronger? I don't want it is stronger than I want it. Because what you don't want, Maya gives that thing to you. More so. So, and from desire, which is unfulfilled, ensues anger. So this desire which is unfulfilled, suppose you wanted to own a house and you don't have the money to own it, you get very angry because of that. Suppose you wanted to get married to some person and you are not able to get married to that person, it's unfulfilled desire, you get very upset and angry because of that. You want to get married to XYZ, and the marriage breaks down, maybe at the time of, whenever. And you get very angry because, why did this happen to me? Right? Anything that you desire, if you are not given that, you are going to get very upset about it. Very, very upset about it. Suppose if your neighbor's dog comes and poops over there in your own garden and you tell the neighbor, please remove this from here, and the neighbor doesn't even come for the whole day to remove. Do you know how much of seething anger you have? Because yours is unfulfilled desire. The person should not allow his dog to come here. Second, okay, from unfulfilled desire, because it is unfulfilled, he has not done what you have told him to do. You get very angry with that person. Same thing happens to the children also. When a child doesn't get something which he desires so much, I explained to you that scene, when the child, he is not given something in the mall, he just falls on the ground and starts bawling, all that, and the whole public around gathers. What is wrong with this child? He wants to have that. So the mother or whoever is taking the child around has to take it. That is literally forcing. So, if you want something and you don't get it, you are going to get angry. Now I want you to think about this. Has anybody explained anger in this way? Nobody has explained anger this way. Even before Gautam Buddha could come on this planet Earth, Sri Krishna had already given this explanation to Arjuna. The whole teachings of Buddhism is based on the word desire. I'm sure you know that. Buddha says, desire is the root cause of all evil. Can you see the verse here in the Bhagavad Gita? It says, desire is the root cause of all evil. So, anger comes to the person whose desires are not fulfilled. Remember this line constantly. If you ever get angry, go to the root cause of anger. You will understand that the root cause of anger is because they are unfulfilled desires. And because you have attachment to the objects. Let us say you are working in a company. you don't get promotion or you don't get increment in your salary. But your best friend, your friend in the company or whatever a colleague, that colleague gets a very good increment and a promotion. So now what has happened to you? Unfulfilled desire begets anger. So you get angry with that person because he has got promotion and he has got extra money. Why should he be given? So your desire was not fulfilled. Did you see? And because your desire was not fulfilled, you are going to get angry. So always go to the root cause of the word desire. So we will take this next verse because it is very important to continue. From anger arises delusion. From delusion, confusion of memory. When you are angry, the whole world becomes delusive for you. So we take the same example where you did not get the promotion and you did not get the money. That is the increment. What is the delusion? My boss hates me. My boss hates me. This person must have done something to the boss. That is why he is given her more money. Did you see that? What your mind has started telling you are called delusions. It is creating sceneries in your mind. More and more sceneries. It is so critical at this point to cut down your anger. Otherwise, because of your anger, your mind is going to create more and more situations which are really untrue. But you are going to get trapped in that. So this person is my enemy. Oh, he or she goes behind my back and, puts butter onto our bosses. Or they are doing this because they are drinking buddies. You know how many things happen? Oh, they are drinking buddies. They go Friday evening, they go to the bar and they have drinks. That is why he is given that. Oh, I am a woman, that's why I didn't get it. Only the males are given. I am a woman, that's why my boss doesn't want a woman to come up in life. Can you imagine the number of delusion your minds are creating? The mind creates thousands and thousands of delusory things. Anything that you have thought of, which was your desire, because it was unfulfilled, it is going to make you angry. And because of anger, you are going to fall into the world of delusions. And from delusions, confusion of memory. Your memory is going to forsake you. You will not even remember anything. Now, in a relationship, say in a marriage, the marriage was going on quite well, and suddenly something happens. Maybe the husband strays away little, but he is brought back. Somebody advises him and he comes back. Now what happens is, every time when you look at that husband, oh, he has done that. Oh, he's a person who is not to be trusted. And that keeps on creating memories after memories which are not real. So what happened to all those years in the past when you were having good relationship? All the good stuff goes out of the window. Only that you remember is the bad stuff. And that bad stuff is only connected to your mind. It is not connected to the reality of this world. You are only facing that which your mind tells you. So this is the thing which happens. You got to be very, very careful at such point in time. A confusion of memory gives you loss of reason. You become very unreasonable with that person. Now this husband who had strayed and you keep on dwelling, why hasn't he come home today early? He normally comes at 5:30 in the evening. Today it is 7 o'clock in the evening. Oh, he must have gone to meet his girlfriend again. So you are ready with the rolling pin. Because your mind has told you something, so you're ready with it. And the moment he lands up at home, you start that fight. Where were you all this time? What happened? Why didn't you even call me? You didn't have your phone? You could have sent me one message? Blah, 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 blah. Can you imagine this happening? Doesn't this happen in a regular way in everybody's life? You will find that a person, because of their own mind, are confused, and because of this confusion, which is called delusion, they start creating stories in the air. Mind creates stories which are unreal, and memory goes out of the window. All the good stuff goes out of the window, only the bad stuff remains. And what is the bad stuff? Only that which mind creates. And because of that confusion of memory, there is loss of reason. You become very, very unreasonable. And because of loss of reason, you go to complete ruin. Ruin means not only on the path of spirituality, but in the material world, a person can ruin his relationships, can ruin his life, can ruin everything just because they didn't get something. Unfulfilled desires. Remember, this whole thing started from there. When your senses go out in the world, they develop attachment for some object. So suppose you want to go to a very good school, maybe Harvard or something, and you were so much attached to, I want to go to Harvard, I want to go to IIMs of this world, that is Indian Institute of Management, I want to go to London School of Economics or some such kind of fancy school. Okay, I want to go to the Cordon Bleu, there where you get the best of the food, you can learn about cooking. And then you don't get it. So unfulfilled desire. It ensues anger. Why didn't I get it? I am the most entitled person. I didn't get it. See? And because of that, you get deluded. So there is delusion, anger. Anger can put you on the wrong track. And because of anger, you get delusion, loss of memory. You will not even remember all the good stuff in this world. And then confusion of memory, loss of reason. You become very unreasonable in life. You can destroy your own relationship and everybody just because of that. People become violent because of that. I'm sure you have seen a lot of violence in this world. It happens because of this. And then one can go to complete ruin. So we have come to the end of verse 63. I will stop over here.